Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm Gamesplaining Gold West. So while this looks like a relatively busy board and there is a fair amount of stuff going on, the game is relatively straightforward. The essence of the game is however deep you have stuff here, you're going to move that up one. So for example, in my turn, if I was to move these up one, I'd drop one in the space above it, and then whatever is left over would be used. If I'm taking stuff out of the 0 spot, I would just use what is in the 0 spot. If you were to put stuff into the 3 spot, you would drop 1 in the 2 spot, you would drop 1 in the 1 spot, you drop 1 in the 0 spot, and then you would use whatever else has come out. Anything you don't use on your turn, you do not get to save, so you must use everything that comes out. What you're trying to do is get as many of these onto this board. Whoever has the furthest on each spot will get many points at the end of the game. So on the top line, you'll get 8 points if you've got the most, 4 points if you're the second most, none if you're not in there at all. In a 2-player game, by the way, we only use the number for second player. If you've got most in the gold spot, you get 9, in the silver spot is worth 10, and in the bronze is worth 11. That's kind of end game points that you're aiming for. There are a lot of points around the board and usable on the board as we move along. So in essence, you move them up and then you take them off. If you bring any combination of these metals off, you have some choices as to what to do with them. So let's, for example, I've happened to bring off 3 gold and a bronze. That is the same as this, which would enable me to swap them in to buy that card, which gets me 8 points, which would push around here 8 points. It also would gain one of those things, so you just literally bring up a marker onto that type of digging spot. Because I was the first to take any of these cards up the top, I'd get another 3 points and that would come off as well. So in essence, off that, I've managed to get 11 points, plus put the thing down the bottom. I could, if I have one of these left over, I could then use that to push forward on the bronze track. If I had 2 bronze left over, what I might do is move forward 2, and that would get me another 2 points because I've crossed this line. If I had 4 left over, or on a future turn I had another 2, I'd go 1, 2, this is not a spot, but I would gain that, which would once again get me 7 points. The third way that you can use these metals that come off is in Boomtown. And what happens with that is if you take 2 of them, have a look at the combination. So I've got 2 bronze there. That allows me to take this spot because it's bronze and bronze. If I were to pull off a gold and a bronze, say it's these 2, I'll then have the choice of going to this spot or this spot, and I would mark that. If on a future turn someone manages to have 2 bronze, they actually can't come into Boomtown because that spot has already been taken. And there's many of these markers, and these can go in any combination of positions. The only one that has to be there every time is that 4 points, and that's end game points. So you don't score them straight away, you just put your marker on there. So that's kind of the metals and what you're doing with metals, why you're trying to build up with certain combinations of metals. The hard bit of it is trying to work out to get that combination off the top. So if you've built them up down the bottom here, it's really quite hard to get them off the top because you have to have 3 extra things that you're going to drop off on the way through. The next element is with these blocks, the green and the black. If you have just 1 green block coming off, you'll take one of your tents and put it on one of the locations around the river. Well, he might go there and pull this off. He will now get the things that are listed on that tile. So it's a bronze, a brown, and a black. And he can put it anywhere he wants. If he puts it down in the 3, he'll get 3 points for putting it there. But it will be extraordinarily difficult for him to use that, because when he goes to use it, he'll have to drop 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. Suddenly we're in trouble because he doesn't have anything else he can push up. What he could have done was put them there. He wouldn't get the 3 points, but on his next turn, he would be able to use these. So let's say he did that. This token then comes down and goes there. The same thing would happen if a black cube came off. Now, if this is his next go, he does the thing with the bronze, so he might push his one forward. Notice getting 3 more points for that. Then he turns in both the green and the black cube. What that allows him to do is the same thing he did before, but with one of these cubes below it. So for example, he might go there, take that one, which gets him a green and a bronze. If he puts them there, they'll give him 1 point. Then this one, because he's gone on that built up spot, he actually skips over a space. That's known as building a settlement. The other one, which was just the tent by itself, is called building a camp. Now, if on his next turn, he just pulled a whole bunch of these off, or even just one, he would take that action, but then he hasn't pulled any cubes off. So if you don't have any of the green or black cubes coming off, you still have to use one of these. The way you use it is you put on the wanted space, you will lose 1 point for doing that straight away. You then choose one of the things around what can happen. By the way, when these were placed, the ones next to it should have been rolled over. I just haven't turned them over for them, but they should be turned over. So if you say you chose that one, you would get what was on there. In this case is a gold, a bronze, and a silver. Place them wherever you want. So you might put them down the bottom, which is 3 points. 1, 2, 3. But then that is discarded. You don't get to mark that. You don't get any influence. At the end of the game, if you have the most tents in this area, you're going to lose 1 point per tent. If you have the second most tents in this area, you'll lose 1 point per 2 tents that you have. At the end of the game, there are points to be had for various things that haven't been scored yet. So your largest contiguous area, you would get 2 points per building in that largest group, not in any other group, just the largest groups. You'd score any of these endgame points in the Boomtown, which each of those tiles has a what they do written on the back of the book, so you can look them up. There's just too many for me to run into, and if I start I won't stop, so I'll just leave that there. Then you lose any points for that area, and then we gain these points for having the longest lines in areas. Notice that when I put a settlement up, that was able to go one further in. If you have equals on a line, whoever has the most settlements in that line, out of those people who are equal, is the winner. If players are still matched for who gets the bonus, the first and second are added together and split in 2 for that particular spot. And the winner is obviously the person who has the most points. The tiebreaker is whoever has least things in Boomtown. And I believe that that is all the rules for Gold West. Please go ahead and watch my gameplay to get a feel for how the game actually plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.